The Beavers head to the desert looking for a win. The defense stood tall early and often, but it wasn't enough against a beastly bunch of Devils. In Salt Lake, the opportunistic Huskies made themselves at home early on and took full advantage of the Utes. At the Coliseum, 5 was alive for Matt Barkley. The junior went off on the Wildcats, and SC needed every score. The Cougars went to Boulder to welcome Colorado to the Pac-12, and a big fourth quarter made Wazoo's visit a good one. And down on the farm, the Bruins tried to keep up, but there's no slowing down the Palo Alto Express. October is here, and so is this edition of Inside the Pac.
Marshall, head-on collision, still on his feet. A sensational touchdown run by Cameron Marshall. 37 yards.
The Beavers give their best effort of the season, but still come up short in the desert. Hello and welcome to another edition of Inside the Pac. Tom Ward here with you for the next 30 minutes. Joined as always by Nick Krupke and our in-studio analyst this week, former Oregon wide receiver Seth Trimmer. Seth, thanks for being here.
Yeah, great to be here.
Well, Oregon State in this game, Seth, really played well enough to win when you take away penalties and turnovers. They had 5 turnovers, 13 penalties, 139 yards, and the defense really gave Oregon State a chance to win this game.
Yeah, you know, their inexperience is showing that they're not able to put together a complete game, offense, defense, special teams, and that's where they're really coming up short.
Yeah, it should have been up 21-0 if you really factor in settling for field goals rather than getting touchdowns in this game. But Sean Mannion, 4 interceptions in this game, and like you said, he's showing his inexperience a little bit.
Yeah, they're playing well enough to win, but good teams are able to play consistently and not make these big mistakes, and they're going to have to cut these out if they really want a chance at a few wins this season.
Had problems running the football as well in this game against Arizona State. Nick, we're talking about Ducks here on a bye week, and Cal comes in on a Thursday night game. We all remember the game last year where Cal's defense did as well as anyone at stopping Oregon's offense.
Yeah, coming back from Oregon practice today, all the guys said basically that was just scheme, and they hadn't really practiced for the way that Cal approached them. And so now they've had a whole year to think about that game, which they got the win, 15-13. He had LeMichael with the game he got injured. He admits that he wasn't the same player after that Cal game, but you can't forget that final drive, that 18-play, 9-minute drive that milked the clock and really killed Cal. And now they come to Autzen, a Thursday night. Students are back. They might have some new uniforms you hear about too, so always a night game in Autzen. Going to be crazy. They beat Cal 8 of the last 9 times at Autzen, dating back to 1989. So bodes to be good for night for the Ducks.
Prime time at Autzen should be interesting, but let's get moving with this week. And for the 8th straight season, the Beavers enter October with a losing record. Now, in years past, OSU has had a knack for turning things around pretty quickly. This year, October took the Beavs down to the desert to take on Arizona State. In 4 head-to-head matchups with Dennis Erickson, Mike Riley has gotten the better of Erickson the last 3 times. James Rogers returning to Arizona for the first time since blowing out his knee in Tucson last October, and a lot of the pregame talk coming in centered on linebacker Vontaze Burfict. First drive for Brock Osweiler and the Devils. There's Jordan Poyer with an interception at the 38. The Beavs' first INT of the season. OSU had to settle for a field goal. It's 3-0. Next ASU possession. Another takeaway. Redshirt freshman Scott Crichton rocks Osweiler. Rocktober. True freshman Dylan Wynn recovers at the 25. But again, the Beavers can't really make the Devils pay. 1 first down before a 21-yard boot by Romaine. 6-zip Beavers after 1. The defense then stepped up again. Poyer once more, going to make Osweiler seem in his dreams. Intercepts him at the 29. We go to the second quarter. Teron Ward in for Malcolm Agnew, the freshman from Antioch. Broke the plane before the ball came out. His first career touchdown, 10 yards, 13-0 Oregon State. Back comes ASU on the ensuing possession. They did review it, gave him a touchdown. Osweiler to A.J. Pickens, 17-yard touchdown. Devils back in it, down 13-7. But Jordan Poyer taketh, and Jordan Poyer also giveth away. On the punt return, trying to cover the whole field himself, fumbles the ball. ASU recovers at the 47. Only 10 guys on the field for the Beavers, missing that other returner on that side of the field, and the Devils then take advantage. Osweiler to Jarrell Robinson, 24-yard score. Devils into the lead on the extra point at 14-13. After the Beavers went 3 and out, Jamal Miles went for miles and miles, taking the Johnny Hecker punt return right back up the gut for 6. 78 yards on the return, make it 21-13. Devils into the locker room with the lead and all the momentum at 21-13. Third quarter, after an Anthony Watkins INT, the Beavers close the gap. Mannion rolls out a second TD pass of his career, 5 yards to James Rogers. Jay Rogers' first TD since coming back from that knee injury nearly a year ago. Beavers down 1, 21-20, but that excitement soon was sucked out of the desert. Defensive coordinator Mark Banker will likely have a field day with this one. Cameron Marshall bruising through at least 4 tacklers, a la Marshawn Lynch's beast mode run, 37 yards, make it 28-20 to the fourth. Marshall then scored again, this time in an 8-yard run as he crosses the goal line, make it 35-20. And Mannion threw 4 interceptions on the night, 2 of them to Alden Darby. 9 total turnovers in this game combined between both teams as Darby returns it and Dennis Erickson gets back into the win column against Mike Riley. 35-20, Arizona State dropping the Beavs to 0-4. They haven't been winless this late since Jerry Pettibone's final year when the Beavers were 0-5. Mannion forced to throw a ton, a school record for both completions with 40 and 66 attempts, breaking Eric Wilhelm's mark from 1986 against Michigan.
Yeah, tough pill to swallow when the defense forced those 4 turnovers, the most for them since the UCLA game in 08. That run game non-existent again without Agnew, 14 carries, 47 net yards, so they come back home Saturday with Arizona.
Well, Seth, Oregon State looked good in this game. They looked as good as we've seen them anyway, and they still squandered numerous opportunities early on in the game. They could have been up, say, 21-0 in this game, but it was really a 13-0 lead, allowing Arizona State to hang around early.
A lot of opportunities that were missed in the red zone, and that really is an entirely different kind of offense. And especially for a young quarterback, you're talking about tight windows, shorter time frames, and so you saw him get a little bit nervous and make some easier passes instead of the passes that are going to give you a chance to score.
We see the first turnover, and Jordan Poyer, we've said it all along, he is one of the playmakers on that Oregon State defense, and they set the Oregon State offense up well here in the red zone.
Yeah, absolutely. You can only game plan and play call so far to get you to victory. You do need your players to make plays. And so Jordan Poyer seems to be the lone star at this point for Oregon State.
Yeah, Mannion incomplete on second and then incomplete on third down, where a lot of the throws are just underneath anyway, though.
It's a lot of nerves. It's not setting the feet and making sure you're following through on throws and being nervous about the rush. There's a lot of things that he needs to gain some experience with.
And then the defense forces another turnover, and Oregon State now in the red zone, 1st and goal at the 10. And they can't go anywhere. They can't run the ball.
Yeah, you've got to make touchdowns if you want to stay in these games with these high-caliber opponents, and field goals aren't going to cut it. They're going to have to find a way to get it done.
And then underneath to Jordan Jenkins, and it's almost the sense that they're sometimes tentative to go for the end zone. Everything's underneath. They take some shots early, make the defense sort of challenge the defense, right?
Yeah, I think what people don't understand maybe about it just from a casual level is just how radically different the red zone truly is. It is a different style of game, and it's difficult to learn, and a lot of teams struggle in the red zone that are otherwise good offensively. So this is going to be something they're going to have to grow in, and Mannion particularly is going to have to be more comfortable with.
Now, Oregon State seemingly getting closer to that first win, and we'll see what happens as Arizona now heads for Reser Stadium. Through 4 games, what have we learned from Oregon's season so far? Well, first and foremost, LSU is pretty darn good, especially on defense. The Ducks, though, have improved from that opening day loss, and that was the focus during the bye week. Dirk Weishauer has more.
Everybody to play. Receivers left and right, and Thomas will hand off inside James to the 5, breaks the tackle to the 2, and dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon. That was pretty easy.
The Ducks schooled Arizona 56-31 and then focused on their own learning with the start of classes and a bye week which was closed to the media.
Really just get back to fundamentals because we weren't preparing for a game. We were just preparing for how do we get better as a group. So all just the basic fundamentals of each position we really emphasize on Tuesday and Thursday.
Keep on continuing our ball security skills, making sure we're taking care of the football and things like that, and just working on improving some reads, but it's all the same reads, just working hard.
Coming off their bye week, the 3-1 Ducks now turn their attention to Cal. The Golden Bears put quite a scare into Oregon last year in Berkeley, holding the Ducks to just 1 offensive touchdown.
Played a lot of men, and did some things that we weren't prepared for, I would say, but definitely made some mistakes that we usually don't make.
They just executed better than we did at a certain point in time. So, it just, the game comes down to execution, and they executed better.
Fans will remember Cliff Harris's punt return for a touchdown, but when the offense needed it, the Ducks put together an 18-play, 65-yard drive, which consumed the final 9 minutes and 25 seconds of the game to preserve the win.
Coach Kelly told us we're going to go, have a drive that you're never going to forget right here, and we went on the field, and I think everybody in the huddle believed it when we went out there, and we put together a great drive, and we're able to put that game away.
That's when we learned Oregon can milk the clock and not just score quickly. In Eugene, I'm Dirk Weishart for Inside the Pac.
Well, certainly those 4 turnovers in Dallas against LSU hurt the Ducks, but Oregon struggled to run the football in that game as well. Only 95 net yards rushing on just 28 attempts. LaMichael James carried 18 times for 54 yards.
Since then, though, Oregon has gone ground and pound, rushing for more than 40 times a game, over 675 yards per contest. LaMichael over 186 rushing in those last 3 games. And, last year the Ducks were 4th in the nation in rushing, 286 per game. After the Arizona game last Saturday, Oregon ranked 6th best in the country at nearly 300 yards rushing per game. Taking a closer look at it, though, Oregon's longest run against the Tigers in that game 1, only 13 yards. There was not a whole lot of room to really do anything, as LSU had 6 tackles for loss in the game, taking advantage of that young, inexperienced offensive line, which has gotten better. As since then, Oregon got it going against Nevada, done by committee. D'Anthony Thomas, leading rusher with 81. Next 2 games, LaMichael back to his old self. 204 against Missouri State on just 12 carries. Then, of course, the school record last week with Arizona. 288, big holes of plenty for James, as the offensive line seemingly getting together on the same page. So back to the top scoring offense in the country now. LaMichael, the nation's leading rusher. You look at the quarterback, Darren Thomas, doing his thing too. 12 touchdowns, 1 interception, and they're finally back healthy. Out of practice today, Michael Clay looked like he's coming back. He's out of the boot. He's off the crutches. Good to get him back at linebacker. We saw Barner and Josh Huff both healthy last week too. And, we haven't quite seen Cliff Harris making a real appearance yet. Maybe this is the week they needed him last year. He was that big crucial return that changed everything in that game for the Ducks, and we'll see if this could be his game to come back.
Yeah, certainly. One observation here about the Ducks as they've been on this bye week and through 4 games. I mean, it almost looks like Darren Thomas here in the first 4 games of the season since LSU has really taken better command of this offense. He does what he needs to do on a game basis, what he needs to do when he needs to do it. They don't need 300 yards passing from him. He doesn't do that. So interesting matchup here for Thursday night at Autzen, 6 o'clock.
Crazy.
Yeah, it'll be good. Well, the Beavers are clearly better now than they were at the beginning of the season and are getting healthier. Still to come on Inside the Pac. More from Tempe as turnovers spoil what could have easily been Oregon State's first win of the season.
I just got to take better care of the ball. I just got to be, see the progressions, a little more clearly and just play a little bit faster and safer with the football.
Plus, the Bruins tried to keep up with Stanford, but the Palo Alto Express is a tough train to stop. And as always, lots more Beavers, Ducks, and the rest of the Pac-12 online all the time at our website, InsideThePac.com. We're back after this.